you for the intro. I am so excited to be here. I'm Lauryn Bosstick. Like Mauricio said, this is my husband, Michael. And I have 100 questions, so I'll get started right away. The first question I want to know, just after being here and seeing this, is how have you cultivated such incredible culture and community?
So I think that, one of the things that's really important is it's really all about the people here, right? And we're very, very careful about making sure that we're always surrounded by some of the best people. I think cultivating culture is not about, it's about living it. It's about, being part of a community, and a community that all delivers, for the same thing. So at the end of the day, we're looking for people that, we have 700 different movies going on in this room right now, right? But all of those 700 movies are all connected by this one family in this agency that connects us all, and the personality of all 700 people that are in this room right now, all in one collective thing, is what becomes the culture of the agency. And so for us, I think that one of the most important things is, we have this rule number 1, no assholes. We love that rule. Our rule number 2 is we like to have fun, and boy, did you guys have fun last night. I saw it. I was witnessing. And so at the end of the day, but it's that collection of people, of great individuals. I mean, I've been running around for the last 2 days, meeting people, talking to people, and everybody is just so smart. Their integrity level is so high, and all I keep hearing from people is that, I just met such and such from such place, and I met that, XYZ from, such place. And they're amazing and they're incredible. And so I think it's really all about the people.
If someone's out here and they have their own sort of small community within the agency, how can they cultivate that where they are on a smaller, more micro level?
Yeah, so I think that, the key to that is, again, surrounding yourself with the right, people, with the right environment. So wherever it is that, you are in Virginia, in Turks and Caicos, and all of these places, you continue to surround yourself with amazing people, and the leadership in all of these areas is what, continues to spiral down and snowball over and over and over again. And then we need to get that down all the way. I always say we're only as good as our weakest link, right? And so we need to make sure that we don't have any weak links.
Well, I was listening to you backstage, and I was hearing the marketing dollars you're getting from Dancing with the Stars, and I told Lauryn, we better learn to fucking dance. It's pretty incredible. Mauricio just came on our show. We did a podcast. It comes out tomorrow. It's incredible. And I think one of the things that we got from you right when you walked into the room was this big charisma, but also this personality where I feel like, and I told you this on the show, we could take all of this away from you and drop you in the middle of nowhere, and you would figure out how to sell something. When you look back on your career, what do you think makes such an effective seller? Because I think with what you do, you're selling more than just an asset. You're selling an experience, you're selling an idea, you're selling yourself. I'd love to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great question, Michael. We had so much, by the way, I had so much fun on their podcast. They have a great podcast, and I started listening to it, and it's pretty awesome. I did.
Be careful which episodes you choose.
I did. Selling to me is about understanding how to read a room, right? And at the end of the day, if you can take a couple of things that are super important, and that is the art of psychology together with the art of understanding and knowledge of what the product that you're selling. At the end of the day, that is the best combination that you can have, and that's the balance that you need to create, right? So understanding the behavior of the client that you're trying to sell, reading that room as quickly as possible, right? And the way you read that room is by being an extraordinary observer, right? And in order to be an extraordinary observer, you've got to be present in the moment, and you've got to be willing to listen, because what the problem is with most salespeople is that they actually don't listen. They have a pitch, they have a thought, and all they want to do is talk. And they're not reacting to the situation at hand or reading the room or understanding who the client is, but rather just spitting out and regurgitating something that they think that they were told to get. And I see that constantly when salespeople in general are doing cold callings, and they get on the phone, and all they do is they call, and what they do on the call is they try to get a meeting. And I always tell everybody, well, as soon as you got somebody on the phone, that's your meeting. Like, start reading that room, start understanding, start making the sale, right? When you're in a property and you're selling the property, today we have so much tools in our hands. We've got Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You've got all of these different tools where you can actually go and learn what the client and what they're all about before you ever, meet them. And that's a very powerful thing, because that now starts giving you the opportunity to make an emotional connection with the client. And if you can make an emotional connection with a client together with reading, the room, together with having knowledge of your product, you can sell anything as long and the best salespeople are able to sell without selling. Okay? The best salespeople are able to sell by asking questions, by listening, and by making the buyer, the client, you take them on a journey, okay? And you take them through this journey where ultimately they're selling themselves. And if you can take a client into a journey to where they're selling themselves on what the product that you're trying to sell them, that is the ultimate sales job and the ultimate sales goal.
You talked about selling an experience, and I think you were really disruptive in that. Can you sort of walk us through what it means to sell an experience?
Thank you, Lauryn. It's selling an experience is completely different than selling a product, right? It's selling a lifestyle. It's selling an opportunity. And so what you want to do is, when we started the agency, we talked about redefining the selling experience through marketing, right? There was a lot of different people that started different, opportunities. But when we started it, we redefined how to sell through lifestyle experiences. So we didn't talk about, we're actually the first ones, guys. And nowadays, a lot of you guys are young and just getting into this thing. But we're actually the first ones to talk about what it is that you're doing at a home. We're not selling 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, granite countertops, and Miele appliances. We're selling what park are you going to go to? What's your coffee shop? What's downstairs? What is the experience looking like? Who is your community? Who is your neighbors? What does it feel like to live here? And we were the first ones that began that. We're the first ones that started the experiential open house, the grand party open house that nowadays is being seen. But we started that 10 years ago when nobody was doing any of this stuff. We're the ones that started the collaboration with Lamborghini and Tiffany and Dior, and sharing clients so that we can all have events and create databases that allows us to grow your database, to grow your sphere of influence, to grow the experience. And that experiential selling is what ultimately creates a much better and stronger bond between you and your clients. And then they keep coming back. So the idea of the agency and the network and everything that's behind our crazy idea of what we're trying to create is we're trying to make sure that the client stays with us through all of their lifestyle experiences, right? So if they want to go travel to the Bahamas, and we want to get them a nice chef, and then we want to get them a plane and to go to Cabo San Lucas, and then we want to take them from Cabo, and we want to take them fishing on an amazing fishing experience, and then we want to take them to Aspen, Colorado, snowcat skiing, and we are able to create and set all of that up, and you're able to keep your client in your ecosystem. We've accomplished something, because now we've got the client in the sphere of influence, and we've got the client loyalty. And that's what we're trying to do and accomplish at the agency. And that's why it's so important that each one of you guys has, as you're delivering extraordinary experiences out of the ordinary, okay, and as you're doing this within your individual offices and markets, and we know that everybody in this room knows that if they send you a client to your office and they're going to be well taken care of, you're able to start keeping them in the ecosystem. We win, because now we've got the client forever. And that's what the goal is on that.
In the world that we live in, we're working with, quote unquote, all sorts of different talent all the time, whether they're pitching themselves to come into the network or pitching a new show. And we come across a ton of good ideas all the time. But the main thing that I'm looking for all the time in the seat that I sit in is somebody that also knows how to sell themselves and somebody who knows how to stand out amongst the crowd. You guys are obviously in a very competitive field. From your perspective, what makes an incredible agent stand out? How can they sell themselves better?
Yeah, great question. I think some of you guys have heard me talk about this, but it's all about you have to be the most knowledgeable person in the room, and you've got to be able to read the room, okay? And what I mean by the most knowledgeable person in the room, we're selling houses, we're selling real estate, you guys are in a community. You got to know what side of the street the sun, at what time it hits, every single house that, is on a particular street. How much did it sell for? How much did it sell for 10 years ago? Did it resell? Know the roll call, know all the neighbors, be able to tell stories about the neighborhood, be able to tell stories about where to go eat, where to go, all of that stuff. The contract, be the most knowledgeable about the contract. If you run into somebody in a bar and they ask you a question, you got to be able to answer, well, paragraph 14B2 talks about X, Y, and Z, and you're actually wrong. And you got to be able to, just boom, 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 knock that out. That knowledge is power. And then that power and that knowledge gives you confidence. And if you can sell with confidence, then you can sell everything, right? So you need to know your product. That's what I talk about, knowledge. You need to know the product that you're selling, and you need to be the most knowledgeable person out there, period, end of story. Now, what you do is you take that knowledge, you turn it into confidence, you speak with confidence because you have everything, you get the client. The client now believes what you're telling them. They start feeling confident that you're their best advisor. And once you're their best advisor, they start, trusting you. And once they trust you, you can now start helping them and advise them and sell them. So at the end of the day, you just need to be, powerful, but you also need to listen. People don't listen enough. Ask questions, care, be present. I'm going to talk about being present all the time. I think it's the most emotional, the most important thing right now is being vulnerable with yourself, being emotionally vulnerable, knowing what you stand for, knowing what you want to deliver, okay, and then being present. And when you're present, you're listening, you're having real conversations, and that's when you can sell somebody.
What are some things that you do when you're selling to someone to sort of like make them feel important as the buyer?
That is a great question. You need to one of the things that I do is I try to make everybody feel when they're with me that they're the most important person in the room and the most important person on the planet the moment that I'm with somebody. So if I'm with somebody, I'm looking at them in the eye, I know what their name is, I'm talking to them, I'm focused, I'm hyper-focused, everything around me kind of disappears. If somebody else is talking, I try to do that. Obviously, you guys saw me last night. I did ADD out a couple of times. I apologize. No question about that. But at the end of the day, you need to be focused with that person, and you just need to make them feel like they're the most important person in the room.
Okay, so I'm so nosy about habits. I asked you about this on the podcast. I'm obsessed with what makes high performers function well when it comes to their habits and routines. What are some things that you do on a daily basis that really set you up for success? Because you are like an athlete. Like, you have to be performing at a certain level, and to do that and to be effective, you have to have certain like wellness, health, diet. What are your things that you go to that make you who you are?
Yeah, I think habits that you have are the most important thing. And being healthy, being mindset healthy. You need to take care of your body, your soul, your mind, all of that. And none of that comes by itself. We need to work on that. Okay. So I wake up every morning. I wake up very early.
You tell us what time.
I wake up with the sunrise. So I don't have an alarm clock. I've never put on an alarm clock. I sleep with the windows open. And if it's a dark, rainy day, I'll wake up, a little later. If it's a nice sunny day, I wake up earlier, just so I wake up with the sunrise. But it's always, 6 a.m.-ish, okay, 5:45 to 6:15 plus or minus. And I wake up early. Like I jump out of bed. I'm excited to get out of bed. I don't have a snooze button. I don't push it 10 times. I literally I wake up, I open my eyes, and I'm like, boom, let's go. I am.
Today, even this morning.
Even this morning. This morning I was up super early, way too early this morning. I think I was up at 5:30 this morning because I couldn't sleep last night very well. I was thinking too much. Jumped out of bed. I was waiting for the coffee shop to open. I was down at the gym. I saw a bunch of you guys down at the gym this morning, which was awesome. Meditated. And then I do my affirmations. I try to meditate every day. I don't. I'd like to. But and then I do my affirmations. So today I did affirmations about, making sure that I deliver knowledge, that I am able to touch each and every one of you and deliver something to you that you can actually take home, some sort of insight. So I talked to myself. I lied to myself that I'm going to deliver an amazing experience, okay? I lied to myself that I have something really smart to say to you. I lied to myself that the stuff I'm going to say to you is important. Like, I just went through all of that in my head, okay? And so here I am pretending that that what I have to say is, important.
Now you're talking.
That's how I do it.
Story of my life. It's on that note, I was talking to a business partner the other day, and we were kind of joking around about the state of the economy, and we were saying for the last 7-8 years, it's been easy, not to say easy, but it's been easier as an entrepreneur to look really smart because interest rates are low, market's good, things are going well. When you look at the state of the economy now, you're coaching your younger self on how to navigate this market. Where would you start?
Yeah, the world's a little bit strange right now in terms of the economy. We're finally starting to see. Today there was a report that the retail spending was down for the first time in forever. We obviously know that housing transactions is down, by a lot. We know that interest rates are high. It's starting to feel like we're going to be doing that, and we're dealing and living in a very difficult year. Billy and I started the company in 2011 with, and I say Billy and I mean, there's a bunch of you guys here that also, Paul and Blair and Aileen and Santiago, and we all started the company during a recession. And you came out of this recession, but during these recessions is an opportunity to stand out and be different. Okay. I started selling real estate in 1996, and that was after the worst recession in 1995, which was the lowest mortgage applications that we've had until now. So, just so you understand, I'm talking about the U.S., but there's amazing opportunities when that happens. It's an opportunity to stand out. It's an opportunity to be different. It's an opportunity to gain market share. God knows this is a difficult year. I certainly know about that. I don't know if you guys have seen me in the news.
What's going on? Anything new?
Oh, that's a different conference.
We're going to change the focus of this topic now.
I love you guys. But with that uncomfortableness and with that, when things are like that, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity to shift. That's an opportunity to wake up and be great. It's an opportunity to get excited and to get optimistic, and to find the path, because while everybody else is sitting with their heads down and tortured and think there's no path forward, and you're able to stand up and remove yourself and take yourself to a little bit more of an upper level and look down at the whole program, at yourself, at your life, at what you're doing in business, and how you can differentiate yourselves, and you can actually start thinking like that, you can do extraordinary things, okay? Like that, this is the moment that people want change. Nobody wants their mom to sell their real estate anymore, their best friend. I just got a listing the other day on a $24 million house, and they said to me, well, I gave it to my wife's best friend because I thought the house was going to sell itself. That day's gone, okay? Now people want to deal with professionals. They want to deal with, and by the way, you have to understand your pitch, right? What's your pitch about yourself? Or what's your pitch about the agency? You got to have that knowledge. You need to have that elevator pitch. And everybody has a different elevator pitch. Over the next day and a half, you're going to start, hopefully by everything you're going to be hearing, you're going to start being able to deliver your elevator pitch, okay?
No, I think, I believe the job of a leader, and this doesn't just mean a CEO, it could be any leader, is to show calm in the eye of the storm, right? I think if you're in a leadership position and you're in panic, and maybe you're managing a team or you're working with a customer, and you're more panicked than they are, that's going to spread down. And I think it's easy to judge people when times are good, but I was talking to you off air, and I said, your customers, your partners, the people are going to remember how you behave when markets are tough. People aren't going to remember when markets are good. They're saying everything's good. They're going to remember the times when it's tough. If you were coaching your younger self, trying to teach them how to keep a level head during this kind of time, what are some of the practices you would implement?
Again, it just goes back to, being present, right? It goes back to meditation. It goes back to really, waking up every single morning and thinking, what can you do different? What can you find out there that, you're going to see, like, all of a sudden, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to see something and it's going to be like, it's going to show its face. Okay. Like right now, I really do believe, I'm hoping that in the next day and a half, I have an insight and I see something completely different about the shift that's happening in real estate. There's an extraordinary shift that's happening in real estate, but that extraordinary shift is an extraordinary opportunity. It's a phenomenal opportunity. And I am so excited to find it. And I'm so excited to see it. And so as I'm talking to all of you guys, all I'm doing is listening to all of you. I'm asking you questions with the hope that somebody's going to say something to be the boom, triggers an entire thought and an entire process. Okay. So as we're going through all of these things, you just have to be open. You've got to be present. Put yourself in uncomfortable positions. I mean, God knows I just did that dancing. What did I do? I went on live television, prime time, no idea how to dance, no idea how to perform, no idea, that part of my brain even existed or knew how to work. And all of a sudden, boom, the televisions go up and I'm dancing the jive and the salsa and I miss half my, a third of my dance, completely blacked out. I don't know if anybody has ever blacked out, okay? But like, literally blacked out. Everybody always talks about I blacked out. I don't know what blacking out is. Well, now I do. I was literally, I'll tell you what happened. I'm coming like this and I go like that. And all of a sudden, boom, black. Okay. Seriously, completely black. I'm not joking. 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds. I did not see my partner. And all of a sudden my eyes open and I go, I have no idea what I'm doing. And she goes, I know. and she goes, just dance like at the club. And I'm fucking dancing like at the club, and literally missed a third of, and people don't realize it because then she said to me, she says, well, just pick it up at the clap. And I'm like, okay. And then I went to go hit the clap and I was early on the clap. So that's what, everybody thought I actually, like, that was my missed step, which is what's so incredible is that on live television, on national television, I blacked out for 15 seconds, literally 15 seconds, guys, was the miss. People think I missed 2 seconds and 2 steps because I just pretended to go through all of these steps like I was at a dance club, okay? And then I missed my clap. And then I hit the clap, and then I finally finished the last third right on. But you got to put yourself in these uncomfortable situations. And when you do that, and then you make mistakes and all of a sudden you get through it and you rise up. We read all these books, okay? I read all these books. I hear all these things about putting yourself in, in an uncomfortable zone and you're going to be a better person. It's like, we read that, but we never do it, right? And I just experienced that and I read that and I did it. And it literally made me a better person. It made me a more emotional person. It made me a person that allowed me to start, finding a completely different, area of my brain, a performance. I think it's going to help me be a better leader and a better CEO. All of those things. So it's like we read this, we hear people talk about it, we listen to podcasts. Go put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. It really will make you grow.
Yes. One thing about high performers is that they always figure it out, kind of based of what you just said. This room is full of successful, incredible people. What do you think is a common denominator of this crowd?
I mean, everybody in this crowd, I think, is just, it's phenomenal. It's their energy. I think the common denominator is the fact that you guys all love what you do. You love the energy, and they're some of the best minds and the best real estate minds in the world. Everybody here is so motivated. You guys are all motivated. You're self-motivated, and you're all confident. And I think those are the kind of the key elements of the success that we have going on here.
Mauricio, I'm inspired. Thank you so much for having us. And let's do this again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mauricio. You guys, congratulations.